Hey, good morning dudes, how we doing? Today I figured we'll do something a little bit different. A lot of people like to ask me about my hidden bases, so today I'm going to share some of my favourite spots with you guys. So I figured today I'll take you on a little tour of where I like to put down my bases. I will do this with the GPS up so you can see the coordinates. So one of my biggest tips to share with you guys, somewhere really good to hide your base, is under bridges. Bridges are really good at, people will look into here for a base, but they'll walk directly over a bridge, but they won't realise that there is a cheeky base under the bridge. So these are always good. Me and Joe had one of these for like an entire wipe on a deathmatch server. I'll show you where that was next. But we had that for like an entire wipe. But yeah, you get enough room down here for a couple tents. You can build it all off if you really wanted to. I've kind of done this a little bit wonky, so you can kind of see it from the top. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. But if you placed it a little bit better, it would go in like the tread. But yeah, this is like the #1 spot that I can recommend. I'll show you a few bridges. So we'll say like #1 and #2 are the bridges. I will show you a couple examples. From this angle it's a little bit more obvious, but you can sort it off a little bit better. But not a lot of people will realise this is a base. But yeah, let me take you to the other bridge that we built under. So there are a few bridges around. This one here we had a base on Y-Run. For those of you that know Y-Run, it's a very deathmatchy raidy server. But we had a base under this bridge for an entire 2 weeks before the server wiped. And it survived the whole 2 weeks. Okay. But watch your head when you get in. There's actually quite a lot of room for tents and safes and stuff. I did put a double gate over here because I figured that would be kind of cool. On the Y-Run it was just within a building, but for whatever reason nobody really checks underneath the bridges. So like yeah, build under a bridge if you really want to be hidden. But yeah, there's 2 types of bridges. They're usually quite scattered. These are everywhere. There's one by Vibel. There's a wooden bridge over by Starry. They are literally everywhere. And yeah, nobody really knows they exist. But yeah, on to the next spot. So dudes, there are literally well not hundreds, but there's a lot of flats across Chernarus. Not just Cherno, but like Chernarus in general. And something that I like to do is look how many flats there are. And they don't spawn loot. Right, none of these spawn loot. There's more over here. And each and every single one of these has rooms in them. So you can go in here and you can go into nearly like every room, nearly. Every single one of them. Now nobody is going to go into each and every single one. So something that I like to do is pick a random one. Just any flat. Just pick anyone, like this one, that one, any single one. You go into it. Because nobody will, if you don't build in the front of the flat, nobody's going to know there's a base inside. You go up to whatever floor has doors on it. So you could put a little base in there. Could put a little base in here. Like the apartments are just hundreds of rooms that nobody is going to discover if you don't advertise your base. And by advertise, what I mean, like if you were to block off this doorway here, you have a higher chance of being raided than you do by putting it in a little room over there. But if you don't show where your base is, barely anybody will ever find it. Because look how many there are. And I've survived in these flats for a good couple weeks. This one is probably a bit of a no-brainer. But whenever I build a base, I build a base close by in the woods. Probably one of the best bases that you could build, just because nobody really looks in the woods. If you hide it well enough. This is a pretty poor example, to be honest. But you can find a lot of very dense bush areas, like behind that tree and stuff. But yeah, these are pretty well hidden. Especially you have trees above. Because like, even with helicopters now, they're not gonna see it. Unless they're like flying directly over it. Like, I can barely see it now. So one of my coolest little spots, we'll leave on the GPS, is the dams. So these dams you can walk just straight up. And this is always overlooked. You can get some really cool little designs in here. I've seen some people have like not so hidden, but you can build out from here. Like a platform that comes out and goes up. But if you kept it at this doesn't really get seen ever. A lot of people run straight past them. But yeah, you can't see over here either. But yeah, it's a nice little spot over there. It's nice and hidden. But like I said, you could extend it out over the lake or on top of the actual dam. Especially on servers that have like door raiding only. You could build like a really cool little unraidable base. Maybe I'll do that for a video. I'll do an overhang. We all know by now the ocean base. This is probably one of the best bases to build. They are extremely hard to find, and the only reason that people found this one is because I showed it in the video. We had this for nearly 2 weeks, and not a single person knew where it was. Now there's like, why is there so many boats over here? But yeah, ocean base, really good. And I've already shown you how to build it. So dude, this is probably one of my favourite ones. Just because of how well it's hidden. Look, you got this bush over here blocking it. You can kind of do it over here, but I wouldn't really recommend doing it over here, because when you do it over here, if people are looting, they got this big JCB in the way, big rig, I don't know what it is. Nobody ever sees it over here. I've had tents over here that have no locks on them for like an actual month, and there is a lot of room over here. So you got a good enough room for a couple tents, a couple safes. And if you do it just right, you can't get in. And if you're up there, it's also very hard to see. Let's go. Sometimes people like to sit over here and snipe into the town, but there's not really an angle. Like, look at how well hidden that is over there. I like that spot a lot. Probably one of my favourite spots. So this one is probably one of the oldest but most efficient hidden bases I've ever used, and I've been using this one for years. I've been using this since very early DayZ. I can't remember if I used this in the Anarchy mod. I don't think this was like this in Anarchy. But I've used this one for years. So you can build a little base at the bottom of, hold on, let me get you a better angle. You can build a base in this little crevice at Milk Mountain, and it literally never gets found. Because like, even when people are up here camping the coast, nobody really looks down. Nobody sits up here and is like, I wonder what's down there. It's just way too steep. So this here, I know a lot of friends have used this. I know some YouTubers that use this. You can probably see it, yeah, I can see it like that. But yeah, been using this one for years, and it never gets found. Anyways dudes, I just figured I'd give you guys the top bases that I use. I do have a couple more hidden locations that I'm gonna keep secret because I'm using them at the moment, but maybe we'll do another video to cover that. Anyways, I do hope that you enjoyed. If you like these sort of informative videos, let me know down below, and as always, don't forget to take it easy, don't forget to stay sexy. Peace out.